Hello everyone and welcome to a new episode of News from Arcadia. Today we talk about mounted combat as described in Arcadia magazine number 1 from Willy Abeel. The article includes the following: additional rules for mounted combat, new stats for mount, and an adventure to use the new rules. My good friend Finn the Fighter will help me today. Hello Finn.
Hello Marco.
Let's start with the additional rules in mounted combat. Finn, what can you tell about them?
Well, first of all, the creatures now have the mounted trait.
And what does it do?
The mounted trait allows the mount to nominate a creature which has ridden the mount in the last 10 days as their rider. In doing so, the mount gains temporary points based on the level or the CR of the rider after every long rest.
That will increase the chance of survival of the mount for sure.
Yeah, also the mount uses the proficiency bonus of their rider.
Wait, this means that a mount could get a worse proficiency bonus?
Yeah, the idea is that a beginner rider could impair a more experienced creature.
Makes sense.
But that's not all. The proficiency bonus modifies the armor class, the saving throws, the ability checks, and the attack rolls. The proficiency bonus is used also to calculate the DC of the saving throws caused by the creature.
How do the mount and the rider act? Do they act independently?
The mount acts in the same turn of the rider. The rider can spend a bonus action to allow the mount to use one of their special actions. Otherwise, the mount can use the dash, disengage, or dodge actions.
Oh yes, of course, to avoid spoiling the action economy. Besides, I read that it's possible to dismount and attack with a very fancy maneuver.
Sure, to do so, the rider has to make an athletics or acrobatics check with DC equals to 10 plus the challenge rating of their mount. If succeeds, the rider has advantage on the next attack before the end of their turn. If fails, the rider falls to the ground and their speed becomes 0 until the start of their next turn.
And what type of mounts are we talking about? Just horses or something more exotic?
Surely something more exotic. Warhorses are there, of course, but also Basilisk, giant toads, hippogriffs, nightmares, and owlbears.
Well, those seem pretty unusual. Do they have the usual stats?
Nah. As said before, they use the proficiency bonus of their chosen rider, for example, and they have special actions.
Let me guess, the Basilisk is going to petrify other creatures.
Yeah, but not only that. First of all, a Basilisk is a very steady creature, so the rider, if it is of medium size or less, it's going to have advantage on saving throws to be dismounted. And second, their bite, aside from inflicting damage, forces a creature to do a constitution saving throw, and if they fail, they will lose half their speed.
Not bad. Anything else?
Of course, if you meet their gaze and you fail a saving throw, then you are going to be restrained, and once per day, their gaze will literally turn you into stone, even though just for 1 hour.
That seems nasty. What can you tell about the giant toad?
Gnomes either hate them or love them, and for a good reason. Wild ones tend to swallow gnomes and similar creatures. Tamed ones still have a poisonous bite.
So they don't try to eat gnomes?
Nah, they don't, but they still can grapple creatures, even as big as a human, with their tongue. Once they grab a creature, the creature is restrained, with a DC to escape equal to 10 plus the proficiency bonus. And then they jump.
Well, toads are supposed to jump.
Of course, but the tamed variety are taught to jump up to 40 feet and then drop their prey when they are at the peak of the jump. And you know what means falling from 40 feet.
It's 4d6 of bludgeoning damage, right?
Exactly. You don't know how many adventurers got broken arms or worse from such shenanigans. And that's not the whole story.
And what else?
If they will land on a creature, they will crush it, and the creature will have to make a saving throw against dexterity to avoid the full impact. If it takes the full impact, it will have to try to escape with an athletics or acrobatics check while it's smashed under the giant toad. And did I mention that it's going to take 4d6 plus 2 bludgeoning damage as well?
And giant odds are considered large creatures, right?
Exactly, so it can squeeze up to 4 medium creatures, which is admittedly more than enough to cause havoc among many different parties.
I'm sure you prefer hippogriffs.
Well, when I have them on my side, sure. If you have them close during a combat, they will make you move faster even if you don't mount them. So you will gain 10 feet of movement for 1/3.
That's an advantage for sure.
And not a little one, and 3 times a day they can do a dive bomb attack, move 60 feet toward an enemy, avoiding all possible attacks. They will deliver their rider just in a good position to make an attack, and if the rider is worth his money and hits, it will be a devastating one. It can inflict up to 6d6 plus 12 bludgeoning damage. And it's not all there. Hippogriffs are very good at taking cues from their riders, and the rider can signal them things which they didn't see and make them take cover. So with its reaction, the rider can give hippogriffs advantage on their saving throw. Beautiful creatures.
Beautiful indeed. Not sure if I would say the same thing for the next one, the Nightmare.
I would not say it. People who choose a Nightmare as their mount are either desperate or usually have some connections with evil powers. Nonetheless, Nightmares are powerful mounts.
Did you have a chance to try one?
Are you mental? But I have fought against them. First of all, as you can imagine, they will give to their riders fire resistance.
Why am I not surprised?
Yeah, right? Then they shed light, like some damn torch, and it's not nice to be charged by these creatures during the night with flames blazing around, because you see when they charge, they leave a trail of flames after them, hot as hell. If you enter in the trail, you will get burned, and not only they will stomp you mercilessly under their flaming hooves with the possibility to knock you prone, no! 3 times per day they will literally charge through your ranks, knocking everyone who fails a strength saving throw aside and putting everyone on fire for 2d9 plus 4 of fire damage. And if this is not enough, they can escape into the ethereal plane, them, riders, and up to 3 allies.
Am I reading the next one correctly? Owlbears? Someone was so crazy to tame one?
I have to admit that I had one of them once.
An owlbear.
Exactly. Strong as the strongest man, they either slash at your enemies with their claws or they squeeze them in their powerful arms. And when they grab someone with their arm, it's very hard for them to flee if they are still alive. And once a day they can flare their feathers and put the fear of the gods in any creatures who wishes to attack you or them. And even if it's hard to believe for such a creature, they will listen to you and you can make them brace for themselves and absorb an insane amount of damage in combat.
I will take your word for that. For me, I would prefer a good warhorse.
Well, you are never wrong with a warhorse. Charging beasts they are, stomping your enemies, filling you and your allies with energy by means of their neigh, even though just once a day, and your enemies with fear if they fail a saving throw versus wisdom. They will give you and your allies 2d6 temporary hit points.
But I'm sure what you prefer is their charge.
You can bet your gold on it. When they charge, they will make your enemies fall like skittles, avoiding attacks and stomping everyone who is on their path. They can charge 3 times per day, and each creature they encounter has to make a strength saving throw or be knocked prone and suffer 2d8 plus 4 bludgeoning damage in the process.
Okay, let's talk about the adventure now.
Okay, the adventure takes place in Rashkar, a remote settlement on the border of the desert. The adventurers are here to attend an Owlbear rally. The riders have to capture a flag and keep it for 5 rounds, but there is a curse on the rally, and undead creatures are going to try to disrupt the event. Winning loyally the competition is one of the ways to break the curse.
For which level is this adventure?
3rd or 4th.
Great. Anything else you want to add?
Nah, but I have to go. The old feeders has little patience.
Feathers?
Don't ask.
I won't. Anyway, thanks again Finn for your help. This is news from Arcadia from the Emerald Island. If you liked this content, leave a like. If you are using these rules, let me know what you thought in the comments. And if you want more content like this, subscribe to the channel.